Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, Jay-Z Courtside, coming at you today on Monday, March 23rd. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody had a phenomenal weekend. I hope your basketball team won. I hope everybody had a blessed, fun, exciting, exhilarating, excellent weekend. Welcome back, everybody. I got a fun episode prepared for y'all today, and I know you guys are thinking, Jay-Z always say that. Well, that's because every episode is fun. Okay, but this one, I assure y'all, is a banger. Now, if you guys are watching after the fact on YouTube or Spotify or Apple, first of all, be sure to take a second and drop a like, leave a 5-star rating and review. Second of all, I'm sure you guys saw the title. The Orlando Magic has lost their magic. And now, I came up with this title a couple months ago when they were losing a lot. And it's just so good, I had to reuse it again. So my apologies in case you're getting a little bit of deja vu. But it stands true. It's very, very, very valid. And if you guys are tuning into this podcast because you want to see me talk about the Orlando Magic, go ahead and scroll on about, I'd say, 20 minutes ahead of this. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Today, we're bringing back a segment we haven't done in a while, and that's the winners and losers of the NBA weekend. We haven't done this in a minute. We were doing this every weekend before, but we're doing it today, okay? So I don't want to spoil y'all, but we are talking about some of your favorite teams, including some viewers that I have in my Twitch chat and my TikTok. Guys, we got to jump right into this. We got to get right into it. Today, we're going to start with the winners, okay? We're going to start with the winners of the NBA weekend. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, whether you're live or after the fact. Let's get started with my very first winner, okay? Very first winner, and that is the Houston Rockets. Now, I know a lot of people probably weren't expecting this, but the Houston Rockets have won their last 2 games, which are probably every single game from here on out for the Houston Rockets are incredibly important. The Houston Rockets are now the 4th seed, but they are in a 3-way tie with the Timberwolves, the Nuggets, and the Rockets. Now, or I guess themselves, obviously. So, okay, they're in a 3-way tie. Sorry, that was stupid. But the Houston Rockets are my number 1 winner of the weekend. And honestly, they smoked the Atlanta Hawks, who were on a win streak. I think they were on an 11-game win streak. They smoked them, okay? And then immediately after, on a second night of a back-to-back on Saturday, I watched them come back. Now, the Houston Rockets don't come back into games. They don't. They usually give up their leads in games. But they outscored the Miami Heat 36-26 in the 4th quarter. And then on the same night that Kevin Durant made history in passing Michael Jordan on the all-time scoring list. That's right. Michael Jordan is not even a top 5 scorer in NBA history. We're done with the 90s. We are done with the 90s. He got passed up by Kevin Durant. On his historic night, Kevin Durant goes up for the game-winning shot, misses, but Amen Thompson put it back up and in and ended up winning the game for the Houston Rockets. Now, this was absolutely massive of a night. They needed this win. Every win is extremely, extremely, extremely important right now from here on out for the Houston Rockets. And this was most important. This was probably the most important win of the season. And Bam, I think Bam had a 2020 night as well. So they got it done. Houston pulled off the win, and they finally had what looked like a competent 4th quarter. All season long, all season, it's just been KD save us in the 4th quarter. And yeah, that was a little bit of this, but this is what this team can do when they start moving the ball and actually putting effort on defense. The Houston Rockets ended up winning, and they won both their games over the weekend. And I think that's why I have them as my number 1 winner of the weekend. They were, honestly, they started falling and losing to the Lakers twice last week did not help their media case, but they got this win. I said they rolled up into Miami, but that was a home game in Houston. My apologies. That was a big win. And honestly, if they lost, I probably would have said that Kevin Durant was still a winner of the weekend. But now I can say the entire Houston Rockets team is the winner of the weekend because they all won. I don't really have any other points to talk about on here regarding the Houston Rockets, but 2 big wins over the weekend, and they play Chicago tonight. So they should be winners of 3 straight. And this is great momentum because the rest of their schedule, the next 5 games at least, they're against the Bulls, the Timberwolves, the Grizzlies, the Pelicans, and the Knicks. 3 easy wins. Well, I guess 2 easy wins in there because the Pelicans are hot. Pelicans are one of the hottest teams in the NBA right now. So I guess they got 2 easy wins out of the next 5 games, but then obviously they're against the Timberwolves, Pelicans, who are scrappy right now, winning games, and then the New York Knicks, of course, on March 31st to round out this month. So Houston, this next 5-game streak, this next 5-game span is extremely important for y'all. So if you're a Rockets fan, be sure to tune into these games because this is pretty much going to decide your fate. Now, real quick, it's funny when you look at NBA Twitter or NBA Reddit and you see what the fans are talking about, because I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but Rockets fans want to verse the Lakers in the playoffs, right? And Lakers fans want to verse the Rockets in the playoffs. Have y'all noticed that? It's as if that both teams know that they are both the easiest matchups in the West right now, without a doubt. I'll say if I was a Lakers fan, I'd want to verse the Rockets. And if I was a Rockets fan, I'd want to verse the Lakers. It's both of their only chances to truly make it out of the first round. So it should be interesting. It should be interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I don't think there's another team in the conference or a team in the NBA that wants to play each other so badly. Other than I'd say, actually, no, I'm lying because the Knicks don't want to play the Pistons, but the Pistons want to play the Knicks. Obviously, no Cade Cunningham, we're not talking about them. So yeah, I don't think there's another matchup where one franchise wants to play one franchise and the other franchise wants to play that same franchise. So it should be interesting. We'll see what shapes up. But right now, I mean, hey, this is a very important race. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Houston Rockets are my #1 winner of the weekend. But up next, my next winner of the weekend. I know they only played 1 game over the weekend, but I'm going to just count Thursday as part of the weekend for most of these, just because there weren't that many games over the weekend since March Madness has taken over. And I'm going to go ahead with the Los Angeles Lakers. They are my second winner of the weekend. But before we get into that, I'd like to give a special shout out to 007LX. Thank you so much for the follow on Twitch, my boy. I appreciate you very, very much. Shout out to everybody that's leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate the follow, 007. Let's move on to the Los Angeles Lakers being my next winner of the weekend. I think this is fairly obvious for everybody who watched the NBA over the weekend. I mean, I think this is one of the most tough plays I've seen in years. Paolo Banchero pulls on Luke Kennard's arm, and then Luke Kennard adjusts and pulls up his arm sleeve as if he's reloading a weapon. Pulls up his arm sleeve and just strokes that thing and gets the 3-pointer to go, thus being a game winner in Orlando, which honestly, I don't think anybody saw coming. I was saying it's going to go to Luka. It's going to go to Luka. It's going to go to Luka. But Luka, up to that point, was 0 for 6 from 3 in the second half. He was horrible in the second half of that game following that 60-point game in Miami. Luka was bad. He was 0 for 6 from deep in the second half. But Luke Kennard came up clutch and ended up getting that win. Now, the Los Angeles Lakers right now, I believe, are on a 9-game winning streak. 9 games. And they play the Detroit Pistons tonight. Let's talk about the streak real quick. Well, they won Thursday after Luka's heroics, 60 points. And they come into Orlando and win 105-104. And honestly, it sounded better than the game sound in LA. Anybody else? Does anybody feel that way? They got to make these NBA tickets cheap, at least lower the price, because there's no reason. There is absolutely no reason that this game in Orlando was louder than a home game in Los Angeles. They got to lower those tickets or something, because that is not right. This crowd over the TV sounded like it was a home game. No, it sounded better than a home game. This crowd just outdid LA like crazy. This crowd literally sounded better than LA. So, with that being said, the Los Angeles Lakers have to be my second winner of the weekend. Luke Kennard, former Piston draftee. We drafted Luke Kennard over Donovan Mitchell, even though we told Donovan Mitchell that we were going to take him. Luke Kennard is shaping up to have a great career. What doesn't make sense to me is that they left, yes, this is live TikTok. What doesn't make sense to me is that they left Luke Kennard wide open, who's shooting 48% from three this season, which is absolutely insanity. I know we're talking about the NBA weekend, but I am getting some questions in my Twitch chat. I'm being asked who's taking it today, Lakers or Pistons. That's a pretty obvious answer. The Pistons do not have Cade Cunningham. Do you think Pistons will win when Cade is out and Lakers are rolling? Yeah, I absolutely believe that if the Pistons had Cade Cunningham tonight, they would smack the Los Angeles Lakers just as they did a month and a half ago. The Pistons absolutely abused them when they last played. It was like a 30-point blowout, and everybody was healthy on both squads. So, yeah, if we're talking ifs, but that doesn't matter. If he was playing, yeah, I genuinely believe that the Los Angeles Lakers would get smacked by the Pistons. This is the box score the last time they played each other. Luka had 30 points, but he had 13 free throws, and he shot 9 for 22 from the field and 3 for 11 from three. And yeah, the Pistons just routed them. I believe Marcus Sasser dropped like 18 points off the bench, and that he did. Yeah. Cade had 27. Duren only had 14. And then, yeah, off the bench, Sasser had 19, Stu had 15, so that was great. But Pistons are missing too much tonight. And, yeah, I believe the Los Angeles Lakers will win in Detroit. They will keep the win streak going. They will win 10 games in a row tonight in Detroit as the Pistons are missing Cade Cunningham, Isaiah Stewart, and Marcus Sasser. So the three leading scorers against Los Angeles last matchup, the Pistons are missing them. So that's unfortunate. The three guys that led the Pistons in scoring, I guess it was December 30th. It was a while ago. Yeah, unfortunately, they are missing their three leading scorers. So yeah, the Lakers will get it done in Detroit against a starting lineup of Dennis Jenkins, Duncan Robinson, Asar Thompson, Tobias Harris, and Jalen Duren. And then a bench unit consisting of Caris LeVert, Kevin Huerter, Javonte Green, Ron Holland, and Paul Reed. So that should be a very uninteresting game. But I won't be watching, actually. I will be at my rec league game. My first game of the season is tonight. I'll probably only catch the end of this game, probably the third and fourth quarter. But yeah, man, the Lakers are my second winner of the weekend. They are in the third seed. They're still 2.5 games up on the Rockets. They've been playing absolutely incredible. And low-key, man, I am becoming a Lakers fan from afar. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun watching this team when they play well. And in the beginning of the season, I'll say, and I think I said this a lot of times earlier in the season, I said that the Lakers were one of the worst watches in the NBA. And I think even Lakers fans will agree with me there. The Lakers were horrible to watch. Luka is like Cade, where if they are shooting poorly, they don't care. They're going to continue emptying the clip. And I respect that out of superstars. I really do. You saw it against Orlando. You've seen it all season long. When Luka's having a bad game, he'll do one of two things. He'll get his points from the free throw line, but he'll continue jacking them up and continue bricking. And Cade Cunningham is somewhat similar in that same way. If Cade's missing, it doesn't matter. He's going to shoot. He's going to keep shooting until he hits. And I really do respect that out of Luka's game. Yeah, man, the Lakers are playing really, really well. And honestly, they're one of the more enjoyable teams to watch right now. I was not expecting to see such a leap in their defense. Seeing Marcus Smart be as valuable as he is, seeing DeAndre Ayton really stepping up and being that presence they need down low. It's truly a marvel to watch. It's a marvel to watch. Oh, I am being spammed in the TikTok chat that Austin Reeves didn't play on December 30th against the Pistons, and they lost by 30. Okay, so bring in Austin Reeves, they would have lost by 20. They said they didn't have Luke Kennard. Okay, you guys would have lost by 15 then. Okay, so thank you guys for the what ifs and all the hypotheticals that you guys brought. Austin Reeves has not been good. This is his best game he's had since he's returned. He had 26 in Orlando. That was by far his best game since November, which is not saying a whole lot. But yeah, telling me that you're missing Luke Kennard, who drops 5 points, 6 points off the bench, and then Austin Reeves, whose best game was 10 leading up to that, 18. That doesn't really move the needle a whole lot. This was by far, any Lakers fan that's willing to tell me this wasn't his best game since November, you guys are coping hard. He had 26 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 turnovers, 10 for 20 from the field, and 2 for 8 from 3. Austin Reeves has not been playing well since he returned, but hopefully he can keep this momentum rolling and he can get rolling into the playoffs. I don't know why Lakers fans are so upset about me talking about a December game. The Lakers are playing well right now. You guys don't have to fight me. You guys don't have to argue with me. You guys are playing really well, and I'm giving y'all your flowers. This team is incredible, and they're playing super, super well right now. Lakers fans, don't be sensitive. I think it should be a fun game tonight. We'll see what happens against the the Lakers are going to beat the Pistons. It all really depends on if they can get Jalen Duren rolling, because they don't have anybody for Jalen Duren. It all depends on what Dennis Jenkins can do. If Dennis Jenkins goes into tonight being a facilitator, I think the Pistons could stand somewhat of a chance. But knowing JB Bickerstaff and knowing that he's not going to be wanting to play Asar Thompson, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what the Pistons can do without Cade during this stretch. But we're not talking about the Pistons. We're talking about the Los Angeles Lakers being my second winner of the weekend. Listen, I was a massive hater of this team. I was a massive hater. You guys can attest. You guys can attest. I was a massive hater of this team. But right now, man, these last 10 games, they have stepped up. They've beat contenders. They've really stamped their identity into the season. And I want to see more. I'm really excited to see this team come playoff time. The Lakers are a good team. Do I think that they're a elite contender? No. But I really think there's only 2 elite contenders out there right now. And the Lakers aren't them. I think to be a contender, you have to be a top 2-3 team in the NBA. And I don't consider the Lakers being a top 2 or 3 team in the NBA. But seriously, they're on a roll. And yeah, that's why they're my winner of the weekend. Shout out Luke Kennard. Shout out the Nard Dog. Massive win for them. Massive shot by Big Luke. Up next, real quick, I have a very interesting one. I want to give a winner of the weekend to the T-Wolves guards. The Timberwolves guards have, well, I mean, to say it nicely, they got Ayo for free. Ayo Dosunmu for free, right? And then they also got Bones Hyland for free. Now, I will say, I want to start with Ayo because Ayo was a player that I said I want in Detroit. That was a guy that I truly said, man, I really, really want Ayo, and the Pistons didn't go for him. And he ended up going to the Timberwolves. Shout out to the Bulls for moving Ayo, the one guy that wanted to be a Chicago Bull. And he dropped 17 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists on 7 for 13 shooting last night. Ayo played incredible last night. He is so ridiculously stupid fast. He is a fun player to watch. And I will go so far as to say, I think he should be starting next to Ant when he returns. I think. But I think Timberwolves fans would probably reject that ideology because they think Dante DiVincenzo poses a bigger threat from deep, which I'm not denying. I'm not denying that. I think Ayo, he might be better off the bench because of the energy he can put out. But man, I love seeing him ball. And then I want to talk about Bones Hyland real quick. Bones, bro, this guy, he will either give you 2 points on 1 for 10 shooting, or he will give you a game like this. 23 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, plus 26 game high off the bench, 8 for 14 from the field, 4 for 4 from the line. Bones Hyland, man, this guy was about to go play overseas. He was about to go play overseas. And now he's in the NBA playing at to be honest, an elite level. To do this off the bench, and I think that's one good thing that Chris Finch has done. I know Chris Finch gets a lot of flack in Minnesota, but what I will say is I think him telling Bones, be you, be you, be you. Do not be anybody else. That's the one thing he's done well as a head coach there in Minnesota. He has allowed Bones to be Bones. Be that hyperactive, score first guy, look to pass second. And I've seen the press conferences. I've seen the post-game interviews. I've seen the interviews. I've seen everything. And he truly loves Bones Hyland. And obviously Minnesota beat the Boston Celtics last night after losing to the Portland Trailblazers on Friday. I was about to give them a losers of the weekend, but obviously they beat Boston. And, you know, we don't really need to talk about what Boston did on the other side, but Jason Tatum, things are getting scary right now. Maybe you should have waited a little bit longer. Yeah, 16 points on 6 for 16 shooting. Tatum has not been playing well, and nobody's really talking about it because he came back. But maybe he should have taken a little bit more time and sat out for a little bit because it's not looking great right now for JT. Staying on the Timberwolves, shout out to Io and Bones for being my winners of the weekend. They got it done without Anthony Edwards, and this was a big win. This was a very big win because they just lost to the Timberwolves. I'm happy Io is going to get some playoff experience being on a Timberwolves squad. Hopefully they can get Ant back here in the next couple games because I think they're the 6th seed right now in the West. They're gonna need a little boost. They might end up being the 6th, but who knows? Who knows? They're tied with the Nuggets and Rockets. We'll see. But yeah, Io's been balling. Bones has been carrying the weight off the bench while they're missing Anthony Edwards. Bro, Julius Randle didn't even have a good game last night. He didn't even have a good game. He had 9 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Julius Randle shot 3 for 14 from the field. And they won this game without Ant. So when I tell you that this is a winner of the weekend, I promise you this is a massive winner of the weekend. How do you not have basically Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle selling all night long and you still come out with a win? That's because of their guards. And that's why I'm giving them a winner of the weekend. Real quick, another quick winner of the weekend, ladies and gentlemen, is the Denver Nuggets, another team in that playoff hunt out west that needed wins. They beat the Toronto Raptors. They beat the Portland Trailblazers. And that happened both over the weekend. Another team that needed 2 wins. I'm not going to dwell on this. I'm not going to talk too much about it. But shout out to the Nuggets. Shout out to the Rockets. Shout out to the T-Wolves. They all got the wins when they needed them most. Shout out to the Denver Nuggets in particular because they got a specific player back and they're finally healthy. They are finally healthy, ladies and gentlemen. Cam Johnson has been firing from all cylinders. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention the last couple of weeks because the Nuggets have been disappointing. But Cam Johnson's been playing super, super well. Super, super well. He had 19 against the Portland Trailblazers in a win. I don't know what he had. He only had 6 against the Blazers, the Raptors. But he's been playing super, super well as of late. And this is a massive win for the Nuggets. They got Peyton Watson back. This team is finally healthy going into the playoffs. So now you're finally going to see, guys, what the Denver Nuggets can do leading into the playoffs. They're healthy, guys. This is big. They're healthy. I think Peyton Watson should stay coming off the bench, to be honest. He can still play 25 to 30 minutes off the bench, but I think Christian Brown does play better with Jokic. We'll see what happens. And then my final winner of the weekend is you. Guys, I know your basketball team may not have won over the weekend, or maybe they did win. Just remember, as we're nearing the end of March, to take care of your guys' mental health, take care of your guys' physical health, and just remember, you're never alone, especially if you join our Twitch stream and you join our Discord. You got a whole community of people behind you, so consider yourself a winner of the weekend as well, okay? You're never alone. As tough as life may get sometimes, you're never alone, okay? So you're the winner of the weekend, all right? Now that I got the positivity out of the way, let's move on into my losers of the weekend. And I'm being super ruthless today, all right? I'm being super ruthless today. First loser of the weekend, the Orlando Magic. Play that song, y'all. This team sucks. I'm sorry, Magic fans. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm just so frustrated with this basketball team. I'm so utterly frustrated. You just burned your franchise to the ground last summer. You absolutely burned your franchise to the ground. Desmond Bane. You just ruined your franchise. You ruined yet another rebuild. This team is an embarrassment. Everybody talks about relocating the Pelicans. Get them out of there. Get them out of Orlando. Orlando's Disneyland. Sorry, Disney World. It's not the Orlando You just allowed the Los Angeles Lakers crowd to invade your arena and leave grittying out the door. The Orlando Magic won 7 games in a row. 7 games in a row. You know what happened after that? They lost 4 games in a row. They lost to the Hawks. They lost to the Thunder. They lost to the Hornets. They lost to the Lakers. And now they got the Pacers tonight. And I can't wait for my one Magic fan in my Discord to post Paolo dropping 38 points tonight saying, yeah, what they gonna say now, Paolo? What they gonna say now when they beat the Pacers tonight, who are intentionally losing basketball games? Paolo Banchero in the last 4 games in the losses is averaging 21 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. When you look at this, you are going to see something very important. You are going to think that Paolo's averaging really good points. He's doing his thing. He's not. Paolo Banchero over the last 4 games during this losing streak. This is all objective, by the way. This is all objective. None of this is my opinion. Paolo Banchero in the last 4 games, which are all losses, is averaging 39% from the field. Ladies and gentlemen, he is 6'11", 265 pounds, and he is shooting 39%. 39%. And you're telling me you're wondering why your team is losing? Paolo is no longer the focal point of the offense anymore. They were winning games by playing him on ball, setting off ball screens, and getting him open cuts to the rim. And now all of a sudden, he's attempting mid-ranges. He's attempting 3-point shots. I just got to reiterate this one more time. Paolo Banchero is shooting the worst percentage in the entire NBA from mid-range, who plays a minimum of 200 minutes of this NBA season. The worst percentage. And yet 39% of his shots come from mid-range. Paolo Banchero, I just don't understand, man. They're on a 4-game losing streak. They just won 7. And this is where it hurts me the most. The Orlando Magic were winning 7 games in a row when everybody else around them was also winning. The Hornets, the Heat, the Hawks, everybody was winning around them. And now they're losing. And guess what? Everybody around them is also losing. The Magic are the 8th seed. The Magic fell back into the play-in. They are only half a game out from getting back into the playoffs. And I'm sorry, I gotta badger Paolo a little bit more. I really gotta get on him a little bit more. Paolo Banchero had 16 points against the Los Angeles Lakers, half of which were from the free throw line. So he had 8 points. He had 8 points when you don't count free throws. How much is Paolo Banchero making? I gotta look it up. Paolo Banchero contract. Paolo Banchero has agreed to a 5-year, $239 million maximum rookie contract extension, and he is signed through 2031. Now, I'm not going to get into it too heavily because I've talked about the Magic a lot this season, okay? I've talked about it a lot this season. But Magic fans, I'm sorry. It was fuck those picks, excuse my French, fuck those picks when you guys were winning 7 straight. And now it's Lord. Now it's fuck those picks. That's what this has turned into. That's what this has turned into. Because going into the summer, you guys might be wondering, man, the Magic sure do have a fun little team here. They got Bane. They got Franz Wagner when he gets healthy. They got Paolo. They got Anthony Black. They got Jace Richardson. You think, man, that's a fun team. Well, Orlando is going to have the 3rd highest payroll next season. The 3rd highest payroll next season. And they're in the play-in. Well, at least we got our picks. What picks? You traded them all for the T-Rex arm himself, Desmond Bane. Well, at least we have a brand new arena. What new arena? Your fans aren't even going there. They'd rather go to Universal Studios and Disney World. So, what's going to happen here for Orlando? What's going to happen? Well, My only resolution for this team is they're going to have to trade Paolo or Franz, and I think we all agree that they're going to end up trading Franz. The only issue there is Franz Wagner contract. Franz Wagner's making 5 years, $224 million. So let's see how many horrible contracts they have on this team. They got Paolo, who tries 1 out of every 3 games, and he's fat. They got Franz Wagner, who doesn't play basketball anymore. They got Mo Wagner, who honestly his contract isn't bad, but he sucks. They got Jalen Suggs, who sucks. They got Wendell Carter Jr., who's not a starting center. They got Jonathan Isaac, who didn't kneel 4 years ago during the Black Lives Matter campaign, and his contract sucks. Yeah, this team's a disaster. And I don't want anybody to think that I'm clowning Paolo Banchero, because you're misconstruing my words completely. My one Magic fan said that I'm insulting Paolo for being aggressive and getting free throws. That's not it. No, that's not it. The insult is that he only scored 8 points, not off of free throws. That's the insult. And the comments about nobody gets doubled more than Paolo, I would love to look that up. Players getting, because we have stats for all of this, just so we're all clear. Double teamed most in the NBA. We have stats for all of this. I would like to show you. This is last season, so let me look at 2026. This season, it has been in this order. This is not right. That is not right. This is most double teamed player. Yeah, these stats are not right. Who the hell is Norchad Omier? Yeah, nobody knows who that is. There is a statistic out there. Player advanced stats. Aha! Nope. Paolo's not even in the top 30. Not even in the top 30. Let me check Basketball Reference, and you tell me what to look up. Sorry, guys, I am taking a little bit longer to find this stat because I am very curious. Top 10 double teamed players. No, I don't really believe any of these stats that I'm reading. I'm trying to find the actual statistic because there's no way he's not a bottom 30. Somebody in the TikTok said, bro, watch his stat sheets instead of games. DS, eat my entire, I can't say it. I don't want to get banned, but eat it. Eat it, bro. I watch every single NBA game. The only reason I show stats is because I can't show games on these streams. Otherwise, I'll get banned. Okay, yeah, I don't know where people find these stats, but most blitzed NBA players this season. Sorry, podcast listeners, I am probably getting you guys very, very confused by player. Is it defense dash? I have no idea what this is, to be honest. I can't find this statistic at all. To be completely honest, I can't find it. Yeah, I have no idea. Regardless, I would like to call cap on if somebody can find the leak and send it to me, I would really appreciate it. If somebody can find the stat, I would really, really appreciate it. But I am reluctant to believe that Paolo Banchero is getting double teamed the most in the entire NBA. I am reluctant to believe that. There's no way Paolo is number 1 in getting double teamed. So Paolo's not even in the top 10 on usage percentage. Just so we're all clear. Not even top 10 in usage percentage. Paolo Banchero, you have to scroll all the way down. So obviously he's not the most double teamed. He is 37th in the entire NBA for usage percentage. So he is definitely not number 1 in getting double teamed. That is so cap. That is so entirely cap. So it goes Giannis, Book, Jeremy, Ant, Denny, Cat, SGA, Jaylen Brown, Cade, and Şengün. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you, Liam. So he's not in the top 10. So again, Magic fans, I hate when y'all just spew things and assume that we can't look them up to validate that. I watch Magic games. The only time Paolo gets doubled is when he enters the paint. Otherwise, they're daring him to shoot. I've watched Magic games. I've watched them. And overall, he never gets double teamed unless he's underneath the hoop. My point being with the Orlando Magic is that they did all of this to hope that they would compete. And everybody had them being a top 3 seed in the East this year, except for me. Except for me. I did not fall for this. I'm disappointed in this team. I've always been a Magic fan from afar. And to see the way this rebuild has gone is embarrassing. It's depressing. And Magic fans, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You guys do not deserve this. You don't. The fact that you guys still have not got shooting, you haven't addressed your point guard situation, you haven't addressed your center situation, and now you don't have any picks for the future. And now your only trade pieces, because I would like to remind everybody, Magic fans all tell me, we'll just trade Suggs. We'll that's fine. If you trade Suggs, you are going to lose that trade. That's fine, Jay-Z. We'll just trade Wendell Carter Jr. That's fine. You will lose that trade. The only trade that you will win is trading Paolo Banchero, because Franz, sorry, you're not going to win a trade with Franz Wagner. And if you disagree with me, like Magic fans think that Franz has some sort of absurd value. He does not. His contract removes any little value that he had. If you trade Franz, you will lose that trade as well, because another team is going to have to take the risk on trading for a man who's making $230 million when he doesn't even play half an NBA season. This is not new. Franz, Paolo, they miss games. So, Magic fans, unfortunately, there's not an easy way for you to salvage this roster. When you traded for Desmond Bane, you sealed your faith, and it's truly unfortunate. It's truly unfortunate. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I've lingered far too long on the Orlando Magic. My apologies. Let's move on to my next loser of the weekend. The Miami Heat. The Miami Heat. The Miami Heat. The Miami Heat. Holy moly, man. These Florida teams. The Miami Heat were also on a 7-game winning streak. And now they're on a 4-game losing streak. All to the Magic, the Hornets, the Lakers, and then the Rockets with a buzzer beater, Amen Thompson put back. Now, I'd like to just say, it's been a long time since I've had the Magic and the Heat as losers of the NBA weekend. It's been a long time. In fact, I'm willing to say the last time was probably both of them, probably 3 or 4 months ago. There was a point in time where I had the Magic and the Heat. One weekend winner, one weekend loser, one weekend winner, another weekend loser. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. And they came back. Now, it's truly fortunate that the Heat decide to lose when the Magic decide to lose. It's truly fortunate for them, because otherwise they would have got lapped. They would have got left behind. Losing 4 games while the other team's winning 4 games, that would have been a massive lead for the Magic or the Heat. Could you have imagined that the Magic won 4 straight and the Heat lost 4, or the Heat won 4 and the Magic lost 4? I love this question. Who do you think is in the worst situation right now, the Magic or the Heat? The Magic. The Magic are in a much worse position because they have a team and they suck. The Heat, they can make a lot more moves than the Magic can. The Magic are going to lose in 99% of the trade opportunities that they have. The Heat can win a lot of their trades, to be honest. The Heat have lost 4 straight. The Heat have lost 4 straight games, and they haven't looked good. Norman Powell's upset coming off the bench. I don't understand this team at all. I don't know why Bam just doesn't score 83 points again. They're undefeated when he scores 80 plus. So in my opinion, fire Eric Spoelstra for not telling Bam to score 80 points, because they're undefeated when he scores 80. This is a bad time to lose at this point in time in the NBA season. Like, they were just winning 7 games, and now it's not working, bro. The Norman Powell, Tyler Hero lineup is not working. It's not working at all. When I see the lineup of Davion Mitchell, Tyler Hero, and Norman Powell, I want to punch a hole in the wall. Genuinely. I'm so serious. When I see that lineup, I want to punch a hole in the wall. It does not work. I think, yeah, overall, Newsome in my Twitch chat said I prefer Hero off the bench. I prefer that as well. I prefer that as well. And at this point in time, I still think the Miami Heat are a good team. I still think the Orlando Magic are a good team. So I don't want people thinking that I think they're just trash. They're both good teams, but my God, do they look bad. My God, do they look bad. I think the Hornets can pass them up. I think they can pass. I don't care about the division. Nobody cares about divisions. Adam Silver doesn't care about divisions. Divisions probably won't be a thing in 3 years. But yeah, I think the Charlotte Hornets can pass them. I think the Charlotte Hornets can pass them. They're only a game behind the ninth seed. They're a game and a half out of the 8th seed, and they're only 2 games out of the 7th and 6th. So they could do it. They could do it. They could pass them. They could do it. Yeah, the Heat are my next loser of the weekend. And then my final, I guess I got one more after this, but another loser of the weekend for me is the Golden State. Look at me. Look at me. Warriors. In case you're not watching the video, I put the quotation marks when I said Warriors. The Golden State Warriors decided to lose 3 straight. They lost on Wednesday against Boston. They lost against Detroit on Friday. And then they lost in Atlanta on Saturday. Now, the Detroit one, in my opinion, is more embarrassing than any of these losses here. Detroit was on the second night of a back-to-back. They were in Washington on Thursday. They had to fly back and then play on Saturday. That was on Friday. In my opinion, that was a scheduled loss. Even without Cade, I'd say that's a scheduled, even with Cade, I'd say that's a scheduled loss. But when I'm watching this team play, man, they're bad. They're bad. They are bad. They are not a good basketball team. They spam threes and they don't make any. Pods is not a good basketball player. The guy that tweeted that he won't tweet until Pods drops 30 points again, I don't think he's ever coming back. And then on top of that, you know how bad it is for this team? Draymond Green, who's from Saginaw, which is in Michigan, he left the game at the end of the third quarter because they were down by 25. And he came back in and was taking pictures with fans in Detroit, giving his shoes away while the game was still going to a kid wearing a Warriors jersey courtside. And he was just hanging out with fans for the entire fourth quarter. That's how bad this team is. Now, I love Draymond Green. Draymond Green went to Michigan State. He went to he lived in Saginaw in Michigan. And I love this thing that Draymond Green said. He said a few years ago that his 2 favorite places to play in the NBA is the Bay Area and Detroit, because they're the only 2 cities in the country that he doesn't get booed. And that's sweet. That's very sweet. So shout out Draymond for that. He loves Detroit, and honestly, it wouldn't surprise me that if he doesn't get picked up by the Warriors, maybe he'll be a Piston, and I think he'll be great on the Pistons as far as being a veteran leader. So who knows? Who knows? I think Draymond would love to finish his career in Detroit. I think he's always talked about that the only place he would rather play if it's not in the Bay is Detroit. I think he can bring a lot as far as veteran leadership goes, and he can still hoop. He can still hoop off the bench. Even though he had 0 points in, I think, 28 minutes against Detroit. So, I mean, I don't even think did he even take a shot that game? I don't remember him shooting. Draymond Green, 0 points, 0 for 2. Okay, yeah, he took 2 threes, which I don't remember. But yeah, the Warriors suck. And they lost to Detroit, and then they lost to Atlanta. So, yeah, man, that's my final loser of the weekend. But wait, there's more. I have one more loser of the weekend. Now, if you guys remember, for winners of the weekend, I said, you guys are winners of the weekend. But that would be unfair and a lie, because the last loser of the weekend are some of you. I know I said, don't worry. You're all winners in my heart. But some of y'all are losers. Some of y'all over the weekend drank and laid in bed and drank some more and ate ice cream off your fat ass stomach and did nothing to better yourself as a person. So while some of you guys are winners, some of y'all are fucking losers. Do better. Do better. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's going to do it for today's episode. I hope everybody had a great weekend. You guys, by the way, I'm kidding. You're not losers. Unless you're a Celtics fan, you're not a loser. Or you're a Knicks fan, you're not a loser. Okay? Everybody's a winner in my heart. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that was a W episode. If you guys did enjoy TikTok, YouTube, be sure to drop a like, follow. We do this Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. As well, on top of that, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. The link is in my bio. Jay-Z Uncut. Click the profile picture, click the link in my bio, and come through to the Twitch stream. Join our wonderful community. It's going to be insane here coming in the playoffs. It's going to be insane. It's going to be insane. I'm so excited. It's going to be unbelievable. It's going to be crazy. Join the Twitch stream. Join the Discord. Don't be a loser of the weekend. Be a winner of the weekend. Don't be like Papo. You guys have no idea who that is, but just know he's a loser. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I got nothing left to say. Except I'll see y'all tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. We got a banging podcast for y'all. A banging podcast tomorrow. I don't even know what we're talking about tomorrow, but I have a feeling it's going to be a banging podcast. I got nothing left to say, y'all, except for thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And as always, guys, thank you for watching/listening. And I'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Have a blessed day, everybody. Bye.